Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing well. This is certainly unusual. We're here in my kitchen, in case you can't tell. But what I wanted to do today, since we are going to be talking about foodborne illness, is make sure that everybody understands the difference between food intoxication and food infection, because the situation is very different with these. Some organisms have the capability of causing both types of illness. Others are really only primarily going to cause one of them, okay? So in food intoxication, the important differences here is that what has happened is you have eaten something that has a bacterial toxin in it. And so what happens, the illness that you get, usually nausea and vomiting and other types of symptoms, is directly from the fact that you have eaten the toxin. You do not have live bacteria from the food in your body, so you're not contagious. Antibiotics are not going to help here because you don't actually have an infection. Instead, what's going to happen is usually the onset of symptoms is going to be really fast. As soon as that food hits your intestinal tract, as soon as the toxin gets to the area in your intestinal tract where it can cause disease. You can see symptoms from food intoxication in as little as a few hours, if that's what's going on, okay? In terms of the lecture, there's a number of organisms that you're going to have notes on that cause food intoxication. One of the most prevalent ones would be Clostridium botulinum. What happens, especially in cases of foodborne botulism, is you've eaten something with the botulism toxin in it. Antibiotics aren't going to help. The bacteria is not there in your body. It's not replicating. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to give you an antitoxin, which is going to bind up that toxin. And as long as we can bind up the toxin, we can stop the illness. Infection, on the other hand, this is where you actually do have live bacteria replicating inside of your body. So now what you've eaten, instead of just the toxin, is you've eaten something that actually contains the live bacteria. In this case, because you do have live bacteria, antibiotics might be something we would try. It depends on the bacterium, okay? But in this case, because the live bacteria are actually causing the problem, usually symptom onset is going to take a little bit longer. We not only have to wait for the food and the bacteria that it's carrying to get to your gastrointestinal tract, but now we have to wait for the bacteria to actually replicate enough for them to be able to cause their symptoms, okay? Now, one thing that sometimes confuses students, in food infection, you can still have toxin production, okay? This does not eliminate the possibility that a toxin is involved. But in this case, it's the live bacteria in your GI tract that are producing the toxin. It's not a toxin that you ate that was preformed, okay? And so this is something that would happen with enterohemorrhagic E. coli, E. coli 0157H7. It produces a very potent toxin inside of your body as the bacteria replicate. So there, it is a food infection, but you also happen to have toxin involvement.